So are you looking for the best and most versatile pens to use in your next mixed media project? Today we're going to be checking out Zebra Pen products. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I already have more than 800 pens. So what makes these ones so special? It was very tempting for me to open this box before I was able to show it to you guys. But now that I have, let's see what they gave me. I have a set of black Post-its. I actually didn't know Post-it made black Post-its, but this is going to be great for trying out some of these pens on both black and on white. They sent me a set of these metallic brush pens. And so these metallic brush pens are supposed to work amazingly on both black and white paper. So I'm super excited to demo these for you and see what we can come up with. And it looks like they have sent me their entire line of click art pens. These are ones I've had my eye on for forever. I wanted to try these for so long. The idea that there's a pen that is a click based one that doesn't require a cap but it won't dry out, now that is a very interesting prospect for me. So we're gonna get a little bit more into this as the demo goes on. So it gave me a set of black ink and blue ink Blen gel pens. These ones, I'm not too sure what I'll do with them, but I'm pretty excited to see what the creative possibilities are. And especially because they're click ones, that means you don't have to worry about the caps. I'm super excited to give these a try. Okay, and now this is awesome. So these are fountain pens. I love fountain pens. I have a lot of them that I use, but what's interesting about these ones is they are a really good price point and they are disposable. So if you like the idea of a fountain pen, but you don't want to deal with the mess of one, this is the way to go. So I've never tried these before. I'm super excited to see what they'll do. And as we get into this video, I'm going to be sharing with you all sorts of fun things that we can play around and do with these things. Oh, they have these Sarasa Porous pens. I tried one of these on a piece of paper at the trade show that I was at, and I fell in love. So we're going to go into a deep dive. I only tried one color, so I'm quite excited to see what this whole set of pens is going to do. So let's take a look at the Sarasa Porous pens. I always feel just a little bit bad taking the packaging apart. They always look so nice, all lined up beautifully in the package. So these Sarasa Porous pens are a new product for me. I have some of the Sarasa gel clip retractable pens, and these are great for fine writing. But I have to say that these Porous pens are fantastic, and they just have a different feel than the gel clip retractable pens. So these pens have a 0.8 millimeter needle point. It's a beautiful fine tip pen that makes them amazing for small and precise lines. I love how smoothly they write on bristle paper. I would compare these to a gel pen in writing ease, but with a much finer nib. This has a very similar feel to writing with a micron pen. You get that control and that fine detail, but with a little bit more a fluid and smooth pigmented ink. So my impression is that a lot of these pens are used mostly for writing and journaling, but I feel like they're an unsung hero when it comes to using them for art applications. So with everything that I do in my sample book, I try to use a water brush and see if I can blend out the color. These are considered an archival and water-resistant ink. This doesn't mean that it's waterproof. A waterproof ink is fully waterproof, while water-resistant ink will generally resist water, but it might blend a little bit if you try hard with it. So just to be aware that waterproof versus water resistant is two different properties. Honestly, if I left this ink overnight, it might not blend out at all. But because I just applied it, it is running just a little bit. But for having just put it down on paper, it is very water resistant. I really do love these pens, and if Zebra hadn't been so kind as to gift them to me, I would have purchased these myself. So I didn't know a lot about the Blen pens until I checked out the Zebra website. When I was looking into these pens, they're really interesting because they are meant to give you a vibration-free writing experience. Okay, so let's check out this pen. So one, look at the design language of this pen. Like, this is pretty sweet. I'm not one to be like, oh, look, it looks so pretty. But seriously, like, look at that. That is pretty slick. I have to say, how those feel in your hand. They have a little bit of a rubber grip here, and it's the same color as the rest of it. But like, how nice, how modern a writing utensil that is. I think that's fabulous. I am so excited to give these a try. So it always comes with a little thing to make sure it doesn't dry out when you're first starting with it. Ooh, these are really nice. They are so smooth. Oh man, those write something special. Like, I have a lot of gel pens, and I find a lot of them do get kind of cranky and over time, so I'm not a huge fan of always using gel pens, but man, that is something special. And the blue ones, you can tell the difference in the blue and the black. So the black actually has this little bit of gray area, so you can tell it's a black pen. and these blue ones. And again, like the design language is really cool. I have to say, I am really impressed by these. These are like one of those pens you could bring into a really nice meeting and be like, look at my really fancy pen. Okay, so they do have a little bit of blend out. So what's nice about that is if you actually wanted to do something with lines and a little bit of blending, those pens work really, really well. And I find it interesting too, just the black. It almost has like this blue black gray color. That is fabulous. So if you're looking to maybe do a drawing and actually blend out the edges a little bit, man, those black and blue ones, because of the quality of the pigment, is just gonna blend out gorgeously. So I didn't actually realize that Zebra had disposable fountain pens until they mentioned that they may be sending me some. I have to say I was surprised because I always thought fountain pens, you always had to refill them with your own ink. You always had to clean them. And I have fountain pens. I love fountain pens. They're one of my favorite things to write with. But knowing that they had ones that required no cartridge and the price on them is really good. So if you're like the idea of fountain pens but you don't like the idea of the mess, these are fantastic. And look at those. They're just, again, I love the design language. They have really beautiful colors. Let's take a look at this thing. Oh yeah, that's like a proper fountain pen nib. I don't even know how they can sell them as cheap as they do because they are just so nice. Let's just pull all of these out so you can see all of the colors, because usually to get something that's this nice is a lot more expensive than what they sell them for. And I think that's one of the things about Zebra pens that has really drawn me to them, is the fact that they do a lot of beautiful pens. They're quality pens and they're a little bit cheaper than a lot of the competition. And you know what? They write as nice as a lot of my other pens. Because it's a 6mm, I usually write with a slightly thicker fountain pen nib, so this is a little bit different for me. But honestly, for the fact that this is a disposable fountain pen, these work fantastically well. I tend to go for slightly thicker nibs. It's more because I'm trying to create like thicker and thinner lines as I work. But for one that you can basically just pull out and write with is so good. And I think the reason that I like using a fountain pen is sometimes you'll be working on a mixed media surface and you might run into your pens clogging. What the nice thing is about a metal tip is they don't clog. They don't tend to pull things into a pen, and even if they do, you can usually put them on a piece of paper and get them restarted. So that is something that is really special about fountain pens, is that you basically can use them on surfaces you probably shouldn't use them on and they will work. And that's part of the reason I use it. I also like them for sketching, just because I find that I can usually step further back and do a lot of light sketching with my fountain pens in a way that a lot of microns and other things won't do. Okay, so let's grab our water brush. Yeah, and again, nice blend out. Look at that. You can almost get rid of the line. You can blend it out so much. And that's kind of cool because again, like it shows that you can play with these ones and you can blend them out. I like to have things that are water soluble. Ooh, check out that color. Because again, that gives you more options, because you can just use them as regular writing utensils, but you can also play around with them regarding blendability, right? And so that's something that I always like to play with. I really like these metallic brush pens. I love the range of beautiful metallic colors. Not only do they come in colors like the gold, bronze, and silver, but also beautiful colors like green, blue, and purple. This does make them really unique. So let's give them a try on our white paper. I love the feel of these brush pens. They have that nice balance between some soft give, but aren't so soft that they are hard to control. I find them easier to use than a lot of my other brush pens, but you can see that they create beautiful thin lines with little pressure, and then by adding more pressure to create those really thick lines. This brush pen has a nice balance and feel. What I love about these pens is just how opaque the metallic color is. They have more of a look of a paint pen than they do an ink pen. And so with the color being so opaque and beautiful and vibrant, this is going to work really nicely on top of watercolors, paints, and other inks. So now that I'm adding water, you can see that they blend out just beautifully. So you're able to blend with these, not only just write with them. So I'm working on Bristol paper, but I'm sure the blend would look even more incredible on watercolor paper. The white's really nice, but I think where these are really gonna shine is on the black. And the black is just something else. Yeah, the biggest thing about these brush pens is they do have a lot of give, but you do need to be a little bit careful with those first strokes. That if you want a fine stroke, you gotta have light pressure. If I want a black and white journal page, this is the way to go. And then like, look at how opaque that color is. That's fantastic. There's a lot of pens, even I find with like trying to find a good white pen, a good gel pen that will work on black, a lot of the stuff does not hold up. So I tend to use paint pens a lot. But what's kind of neat about this one is that because this is actually a water soluble pen, you not only get that great color, you can actually also blend it out on black and you can see it. And then like even the way the metallic works, you get that beautiful pink color where some of them, they end up being almost more silver than colored on black. And so being able to have something that stands up so well, has a opacity, is something really special, especially with those lighter colors. But this just to show you that those pens, if you wanted something that does double duty, looks amazing on white, looks phenomenal on black. So something to think about when you're choosing a pen for your creative practice, especially if you want something with a brush tip. The Click Art retractable markers are probably the markers I'm most excited about. The other pens are also amazing, but these are something a little bit special. I've had my eye on these for a while, so I was very excited when Zebra kindly gifted me the entire collection of 36 colors. These pens come in 3 sets: standard colors, dark colors, and light colors. I like that they've done them this way so that you can build on your own collection but always have a range of colors that will work together. The most interesting feature of these markers is that they are retractable and don't need caps. This honestly feels a little bit like magic. These pens will absorb moisture from the air, which keeps the ink from drying out. I think this is an amazing technology because it means that I don't ever have to worry about misplacing my marker caps. This works really well, especially when I'm out sketching or away from my art studio. The less things I can misplace, the better. These markers have such a smooth feel and have a beautiful, vibrant color. I love the standard colors because they're a great place to start because you get a really great range of colors that can be used together to create layers in a drawing. I love the dark color set because this is where you can use these to complement with the standard set, and it gives you a range of beautiful colors for shadows in your art pieces. The colors complement beautifully with the other sets of Click Art pens, both the dark colors and the lighter colors. One of the features of this marker is it comes with a 0.6 millimeter fine point. This means I can create beautiful detail with them, but also use them to color in large areas. This works really well for writing in an art journal, but can also be used for coloring and blending out color. Because I work with so many different mediums, having a pen that is water soluble, but with this amount of versatility really works for me. So if you stay to the end of this video, I'll be sharing a couple of my demos that I've created with these pens. The best way to get used to a new pen or medium is to practice with it, and I couldn't wait to jump into creating with these pens. So what I love about Zebra pens is I've always seen them as more of a stationary pen, but they really are an art pen. They have that quality and that feel of an art pen. They have the high pigment level, but they tend to hit a lower price point than an average art pen, which is perfect. You end up with a lot of value for your money. I love the light palette for those pastel colors, or if I'm trying to create highlights on my drawings. How I'll generally use these in my art is to start by adding in lighter colors, come in with the standard colors, and then add the shadows with the dark colors. What's great about the Click Art pens is that they also work very well with the Sarasa Porous pens and some of the other pens in the Zebra line. So that way, it doesn't matter if you are pulling in a few of the Click Arts, a few of the Sarasa, they're gonna all work together and you're gonna get really nice color that's gonna work well and it's gonna be in the same kind of color family and same hue. So if you're using these just for journaling and if you're on a bit of a budget, just choose your favorite set. But if you're using these for art, I'd really recommend getting all 3 sets. It just makes blending and creating beautiful drawings so much easier. These pens dry quickly on the surface, so you shouldn't be getting any smudging. But if you want to take advantage of the water-soluble properties, they do blend out nicely with water. Just be aware that I'm working on Bristol paper in this book. If you're using watercolor paper, you're going to get a lot more blending. The darker the color and the more pigment the ink has, the more blending you'll be able to get with a particular color. So you'll notice as I'm working with the lighter set, I'm getting a little less obvious blending. It's just because of the fact of the colors and the pigments are a little bit lighter because they're meant to be pastels and used directly on the paper. So usually if I want to do a lot of blending, I tend to move to the darker colors and then blend them out to a lighter hue. So I'll give you a sneak peek of some projects I'm going to be sharing with you over the next couple weeks using these markers. So these ones are using the metallic brush pens, and I just did this on a background that I already had. So I'll be going into detail about how to do these really nice roses. But I also was playing with these 3 examples. Every time I get a new set of pens, I tend to do a few samples just to play around and see what I can create with them. So basically, these 3 were created with a combination of the fountain pens, the click art pens, the Sarasa pens, as well as I even use one of these Blen gel pens on these projects. So yeah, stay tuned and you'll see these upcoming in the next few weeks. So if you've enjoyed these pens, make sure to subscribe to see how I use these in my upcoming mixed media projects. I have all sorts of fun and unconventional ways you can use these pens that I hope you'll enjoy. Also, I have a brand new product from Zebra that they have given me an opportunity to test. I'll be releasing that video to you in a couple of months once the pens are released to the market. It's a fabulous product I think you'll love. And since you've stayed to the end of the video, I'm assuming this means that you're obsessed with amazing pens like I am. Check out this video next, how to choose the best paint pens for your creative practice. I'll see you in the next video.